Today we're talking about two kingdoms, and these two kingdoms are Kingdom Protista, which are the protists, and Kingdom Fungi, which are the fungus. Both kingdoms have eukaryotic organisms.
Eukaryotes are cells that have a nucleus and membrane-bound organelles like the endoplasmic reticulum in mitochondria, right?
Right. First we talk about the characteristic of protists. This kingdom has a wide variety of organisms that are grouped into three different categories: animal-like protists, plant-like protists, and fungi-like protists.
That sounds like it has a bit of everything in it.
It does. Most protists live in moist or wet surroundings. They are unicellular organisms, which is one cell, and that may be either heterotrophic or autotrophic.
So unicellular means single cell?
Yep. Examples of animal-like protists are the amoeba and paramecia. Plant-like protists are the photosynthetic algae, and fungi-like protists are the slime molds.
Wow, that's a diverse group of organisms.
It is. So next we'll talk about the characteristics of fungi. Fungi are also a varied group, but they are mostly multicellular, heterotrophic organisms. They have long thread-like cells called hyphae. Fungi grow directly on their food source.
There's a tree stump in the local park that has a lot of mushrooms on it. Could those little organisms eventually break down that huge tree stump?
Yes, they can. Hyphae release enzymes to the surroundings to break down organic matter and then absorb the resulting nutrients. Most of the fungus grows underground or inside whatever is being decomposed. In mushrooms, the only visible part is the reproductive structure. The rest is hidden.
What are some other examples of fungi?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Yeast is a unicellular fungus. Molds, mildews, and mushrooms are multicellular fungi.
I remember two symbiotic relationships involving fungi. Are you going to tell us about them?
Of course, I will. There are two mutualistic relationships involving fungi where both organisms receive a benefit. In lichens, the fungus provides water and algae provides glucose. Lichens can eventually form soil from rocks.
Oh, that helps with primary succession, right?
Yeah, you got it. In mycorrhizae, the fungi grow around the roots of plants and get nutrients from the plants. Plant roots absorb minerals and the soil from the soil that the fungi help to produce.
Are there any harmful or beneficial effects of protists and fungi?
Yes, there are several. In protists, some harmful effects are they act as parasites that cause disease, like malaria. And one type can overgrow and cause red tide, which is toxic to ocean life.
Got it. Isn't malaria spread by mosquitoes?
It is. Some beneficial effects of protists are they aid in digestion of grass and cattle. Algae are photosynthesizers that provide oxygen for the atmosphere. Kelp, which is brown algae and seaweed, is used to make baby food, bread, dog food, mac and cheese, and lipstick. Slime molds are decomposers that add nutrients.
Ooh, so my lipstick is made from protists?
Yeah. In fungi, some harmful effects are they cause skin infections like ringworm and athlete's foot, and up to 80% of plant diseases. Some mushrooms are poisonous to animals.
I've always wondered how you can tell a poisonous mushroom from a non-poisonous one.
Me too. Some beneficial effects of fungi are they participate in symbiotic relationships to help their partners get nutrients. They decompose organic matter to recycle nutrients for food webs and for the carbon and nitrogen cycles. They provide food such as mushrooms, blue cheese, and soy sauce. They are used to make antibiotics such as penicillin that fight bacterial infections, and yeast is used by bakers to make bread rise.
Wow, I can't wait to see these organisms in a microscope. They'd be a lot easier to see than bacteria.
Observe in these pictures animal-like protists and plant-like protists. You will see some diatoms and some algae. Brown algae is also known as seaweed or kelp. The pink diagram is showing a slime mold. Here are some examples of lichen growing on trees. Here's an example of mycorrhiza where mushrooms and fungi have a symbiotic relationships. Mushrooms and plant roots have a symbiotic relationship. Here you have a fungus growing on a tree and eventually will decay it. Bread mold is fungus, and yeast is also fungus, but it's unicellular. The reproductive structure of mushrooms is above ground, and you can see the mycelium that are made up of all the hyphae are below ground. The diagram surrounded by red is showing that the hyphae released enzymes that break down any kind of organic matter around it, and once it's broken down, it's taken up by the fungus again. That's then would be its nutrients. Here's some other another picture of mushrooms and all the different parts that make it up. Again, hyphae is seen more underground than above ground.